Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another session on logic development. Today is more of a practice session that we're going to have. Practice session just for sake of getting comfortable with those nested loop construct. And good to see that many of you have solved those assignments. But beyond that, what I'll also do is I'll take examples where we'll have to take nested loop, which probably are of different types. These were all examples where we were listing, they were all counting loops. So listing for loop inside for loop only. That may not necessarily be the case. Sometimes the question may demand wherein we have to nest different types of loops. So how do you address that particular issue? So I'll take some typical examples for that as well. But before that, since you have solved them, let us have a look at the solutions that you have implemented. If anybody else has also solved, please share your solutions so that we can compare as to what you are doing, right, wrong, whatever it is. Since Kaustubh has shared his solution and Viraj has also shared the solution, I'll open up those files. And I'm happy regarding Viraj because he has also done the dry run. Kaustubh, आपने किया है dry run?
नो सर, मैंने बुक पे किया था सर, वो बहुत टाइम कंज्यूमिंग था.
Okay. But then it is time consuming for sure, but time consuming to draw a picture on that particular editor. But then when you did that dry run on a book, what was the miss? Did you feel more confident about the correctness? What happened when you did the dry run on the book?
No sir, actually it was getting wrong so many times because sir, थोड़ा logic में difference होता था मुझे.
So did the dry run really help you?
Yes.
Okay. And not always we are going to have logarithm with us to show what is the output that is there. So it's very important that we do the dry run. We do it on a piece of paper or wherever it is, and then cross-check whether the answer that we're getting now is the same one thing that we are expecting. So once you have that habit of doing dry run for every logic that we come up with, believe me, even today when I implement some data structures, the first thing that I do is I visualize that I write a story for that particular thing on a paper. And when I write the code, I first do the dry run. I just follow it manually. That means me and my students also, when we implement any data structure, we first create a storyboard to decide as to what is to be done. When we implement the code, what we end up doing is we'll first do the dry run. Like we'll see whether our idea is correct or not by drawing the picture, nothing in the memory. So what will happen in the memory? We visualize the memory itself. So when we visualize the memory, there is no reason why that particular program should not work. And if it has to fail, like you realized it is failing on paper itself, we realize our data structure is failing on paper itself. So you don't really have to spend time coding for it. So it's very important. And this is a tool that we have that builds confidence and gives you a way to analyze. Otherwise, what happens, people end up just writing code and then code fails. Then they add another code, then that code fails. And then over a period, they lose confidence. That shouldn't happen. If you have the right approach, then things are actually very easy. So let's look at the implementations. Since Viraj has also given the dry run, I'll start off with Viraj code and then compare what Kaustubh has done. Yeah.
सर मुझे ड्राई रन का थोड़ा ज्यादा लग रहा है पॉसिबिलिटी राइट होगा, बट सूडो कोड मुझे थोड़ा डाउट है. एक बार देख लो ना सर.
ऐसा कैसे होगा? ड्राई रन इज बेस्ड ऑन सूडो कोड ओनली. जो आपने कोड लिखा है ऐसा ड्राई रन से ना, you cannot get an answer of your choice. Dry run also always gives you the result what the code has been written. So dry run will never give you result जो मुझे चाहिए. Dry run will always give the result what is there in the code. Let's see anyway if you have committed any mistake. Okay, so dry run is actually meant for identifying to check the correctness of the solution. Let's jump ahead and see your code. So this was an interesting problem that is there. And if I look at this, it is wrong. Okay, first glance itself, I can tell it is wrong. You tell me, Viraj, how did you got the value 1? That's I understand. How did the value become 0? What did you do inside this code for the value to become 0? Yeah, अंदर आपने क्या किया है so that this value becomes 0?
सर वही डाउट था मुझे.
ऐसे हम लोग जबरदस्ती नहीं कर सकते.
नंबर चेंज हो गया सर, वो इसलिए
नंबर चेंज नहीं. यहाँ रो काउंटर का वैल्यू वही रहेगा, 1 ही रहेगा फॉर ऑल दिस पासेस. यहाँ वो 2 ही रहेगा फॉर ऑल द पासेस. हाउ इट्स गोना बिकम 0? दिस इज व्हाट वी एक्सपेक्ट. नो प्रॉब्लम. रो काउंटर का वैल्यू अगर 0 1 होने लगे, so this condition will never become false. This condition will never become false. Let's see what is done. Let's see what it says. Row counter in the range of 1 to total number of rows, step 1. Column counter in the range of 1 to total number of rows, step 1. The loops are correct. Row counter plus column counter mod 2. Okay. Display num1 else display num2. What is num1 and num2? Acha, 1 and 0. Hey, if it's just displaying 1 and 0, I could just display 1 and 0 directly. We don't have to take a variable for display purpose. If it was only for display purpose, I could display here 1.
Okay, sir.
If it was only for display purpose, and num1 was 1, na?
Yes, sir.
And if it was 0, it is only meant for display purpose. It doesn't have meaning. It was only meant for display purpose. So I could directly display it 1 and 0. The trick lies over here. Let us see whether this logic is correct or not. Row number plus column number mod 2. So row number for the first time is 0. Column number is also 0 for the first time. 0 plus 0
Sir,
is
1,
0.
sir. 1 plus 1, 2.
Acha, 1 plus 1, 2. 2 mod 2 is 0. The first time it is 1. First time it is 1. Okay. First time it is 1. Agli bar column counter becomes 2. So row number is 1. Column is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 mod 2 equal to 0 है क्या? नहीं है. तो ये display 0. तो first row तो सही आ रहा है. Let's think about second row. Second row किसमें row number 2 रहेगा, column number 0 रहेगा.
1, sir. 1. 2 plus 1.
2 plus 1, that will be 3. And that looks like a perfect solution. So we'll do a quick dry run for this. It's a perfect solution, it looks like. And let's jump ahead with this series. This is the expected result, and this is the code that he has submitted. So let's do a dry run to check for correctness. It looks correct at the very first instance, but unless we have proof, we should not believe anybody. The proof of correctness lies in the dry run. So let's do a dry run. I'll do it only for 3 rows. So let's say we have one total rows, row counter and column counter. These are 3 variables that we have. So let's take those 3 variables. Here what we're going to have is our output. Other than the output, what we have is total rows. Total rows. One is a row counter. Another is column counter. So these are 3 variables that we have. I'm just organizing my screen. आप लोगों के camera ऊपर shift कर देता हूँ so that I have some area on the screen where I can see you. अरे आशीष, you had exam? Madam told me.
Yes, sir, but I joined.
Okay. Tension नहीं है exam का? आशीष?
है थोड़ा सर.
है थोड़ा सा. ओके, ये सॉल्व किया था आपने ये प्रॉब्लम?
नहीं सर.
नहीं किया. Okay. So he had not initialized this total number of rows. He had not initialized this total number of columns. He has not initialized column number itself. कुछ भी initialize नहीं किया हुआ है. Then when we start, look at the code on the left hand side. Code की तरफ देखिए जरा. Please enter the number of rows that you printed from the following series. ये series में से आपको कितने elements print करना है? That's the question that has been asked. So suppose he now says he would like to print from this particular series certain set of numbers. तो कितने print करना है उसको समझो. He decides to print only 3 rows from this series. हो सकता है ना, जरूरी नहीं कि हर समय कुछ ज्यादा ही rows हो. He would like to print only 3 rows from the series. 3 rows रहेगा तो output, what is the expected output? Output will be 1. चलो 4 कर ही लेते हैं और I do the diagram halfway through. 3 rows तक करता हूँ, बाकी आप complete कर सकेंगे diagram for the practice purpose. I'll not complete the diagram. So 4 है number of rows. Row counter for the first time, as we look at the code, row counter in the range of 1 to total number of rows. Total number of rows 4 है. Row counter का value is set to 1. Row counter का value is set to 1. For column counter in the range 1 to total number of rows, the column counter is also set to value as 1. So we say, is 1 in the range of 1 to 4? Yes. So row counter plus column counter mod 2. Row counter is 1. Column counter is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 mod 2, is that equal to 0? If 2 mod 2 is equal to 0, he's displaying 1. If 2 mod 2 is 0, he's displaying 1. So here we go and we display 1 for the very first time. 1 display kar liya. After displaying 1, okay, because if else hai, so condition true tha, so he has displayed 1. Then we say step 1. विराज बताइए ये स्टेप 1 से क्या कौन सा वैल्यू इंक्रीमेंट होगा, रो काउंटर या कॉलम काउंटर?
Column.
Column counter will get incremented by 1. That's very correct. So row total number of rows will remain fixed. Row counter will also remain fixed. That will not change. What will change now is your column counter, because step 1 का है आपने, तो column counter now becomes 2. So column counter 2 बनने पर we check row counter plus column counter mod 2. So 1 plus 2, that becomes 3. 3 mod 2, is that equal to 0? Condition is false. Okay, in that case, it displays 0. So a condition false, so he has now displayed value as 0. So the condition is false, he has displayed value as 0. So पहला आ गया 1 और एक 0. Again, the rest of the elements will remain the same. What will change is the column counter once again. The row counter is still 4. Total number of rows are still 4. Row counter is still 1. Column counter now becomes 3. So we check, is 3 in the range of 1 to total number of rows? Total number of rows are 4. Is 3 in the range of 1 to 4? Yes. We go inside. Row counter plus column counter mod 2. 3 plus 1, 4. 4 mod 2, is that equal to 0? Yes, that is 0. So we display 1. We display 1. Okay. We display 1. And then again, column counter increments, because we are still inside the column loop. Okay. So that column counter will get incremented. So it now becomes 4. So when it becomes 4, we check, is 4 in the range of 1 to 4? Yes. Row counter plus column counter. 4 plus 1, that is 5. 5 mod 2, is that equal to 0? Condition is false. So we go on to display 0. So हमने यहाँ display कर लिया value as 0. ये 0 display कर लिया. After displaying this value 0 here, because this condition was false, okay, after displaying value as 0, we go ahead and step 1. Step 1 will again increment the column counter by 1. The row counter still is 4. Column total number of rows are still 4. Row counter is still 1. This becomes 5. Now we check. Is 5 in the range of 1 to 4? That condition becomes false. Since the condition becomes false, we come out. And since we have now finished with this inner for loop, the control goes to the outer for loop. So for every value of row counter, column counter will move from 1 to total number of rows. So this condition becomes false. So we come out and we increment the row counter by 1. So this time around, we are going to increment the row counter by 1. So this is now 4. This is not going to change. This still remains 4. Whereas the row counter gets incremented and row counter now becomes 1. Now 2. Row counter becomes 2. So we now check, is 2 in the range of 1 to 4? Yes. So we again come inside the for loop, the inner column for loop. And column counter is again reset to value as 1. So this is the second pass that we have, column for the inner loop. So second pass of the outer loop. So we come the inner loop, row count, column counter is again reset to value as 1. So for column counter in the range of 1 to 4, yes. Row counter plus column counter mod 2. 2 plus 1, that is 3. 3 mod 2, is that equal to 0? Condition is false. Since the condition is false, we first display 0. We display 0. Because the condition is false, so we display 0. After displaying this 0, we go here and we say step 1. So moment you say step 1, again, the column counter is going to get incremented. Here 4 hai. This is 2. Column counter now becomes 2. Let me check. Is 2 in the range of 1 to 4? Yes. So row counter plus column counter mod 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 mod 2 is 0. So 0 is the display 1. So we correctly go on to display value 1. So we go on to display value 1. So 1 is displayed. After displaying 1, we go here in the increment step. The entire if else is present inside for loop. So we go on to increment column counter. So this is still 4. This is still 2. And this now becomes 3. Let me check. Is 3 in the range of 1 to 4? Yes. We go inside row counter plus column counter. 3 plus 2, that is 5. 5 mod 2 is equal to 0. Condition is false. So we display 0 here. So we print 0. After printing 0, again, the column counter is going to get incremented, but your total number of rows are going to remain fixed. Total number of columns are going to remain fixed. This now increments to 4. Now is 4 in the range of 1 to 4? Yes. So row counter plus column counter. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 mod 2 equal to 0 hai kya? Yes. So we display 1. We display 1. So 1 is correctly displayed. After displaying 1, we go ahead and we say step 1. Now, the moment you say step 1, this is still going to remain the same. This is still going to remain the same. But since you state step 1, this will become 5. Now check, is 5 in the range of 1 to 4? Condition is false. And then we go down, and now we'll come to this for, we come out of this for loop, inner for loop, and we go ahead to outer for loop, and we increment the, here, this remains 4. The row counter increments to 3, and this is again reset to LS 1, and it will continue further. So I have displayed only the first 2 rows. It was 1 0 1 0 0 1 0 1. That's how it is going ahead displaying. Have you understood these many number of passes? You could complete the rest of the passes. It is a fantastic way to. I cannot think of better solution than this. Goes to good work done. Have you all understood this solution, everybody? It's just like have the picture right in front of your eyes, and then start wondering as to how can I do that. पहला आप ये loops devise कीजिएगा. Find out, अरे I need 4 rows. So generate a loop which will run 4 times. Then find out, अरे हर एक row पे कितने elements है? 4 है और n है. So write a loop that will execute n times. So the first thing is you need to construct a loop. Once you have constructed a loop which will get executed required number of times. ये rows कितने चाहिए? N. So he has written a loop which will get n number of times, which will run 1 to total number of rows. हर एक रो पे कितने एलिमेंट्स है? जितना टोटल नंबर ऑफ रोज है, 4 है तो 4 है, 5 है तो 5 है. So he says column in the range of 1 to total number of rows. So loops are constructed first. So always follow this approach. So once these loops have been constructed, what remains is अब display क्या करना है. And this entire if else was just written to take care of the display part of it. कि अभी मुझे display क्या करना है, वो सोचो और वो खत्म कर दो. So it's actually very easy to solve such problems. First construct the loops and then identify उन loops में मुझे क्या display करना है. Okay. So that is how this particular solution was to be solved. Quick feedback, everybody. Have you all understood this? Prithviraj, Shweta. Okay. Now that we have solved the first one, there is another question that was, I'm going to share these solutions also with you all. Another problem क्या था? तो विराज आपने बाकी कोई प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया है?
किया है सर, बट सब गलत है.
सब गलत है. आपने लूप्स तो सही लगाए. ये सेकंड
वो इफ वाला जो डाला था ना कॉस्ट्यूम में,
अरे वो छोड़ दो ना. ये वाला एग्जांपल में आपने दोनों लूप तो सही लगाए. फर्स्ट रो पे देखो कितने रो चाहिए आपको? n नंबर ऑफ रोज, दैट इज टोटल नंबर ऑफ रोज. तो आपने एक लूप लगाया विच रन टोटल नंबर ऑफ रोज टाइम. फर्स्ट रो पे कितने एलिमेंट है? 1 है। सेकंड रो पे कितने है? 2 है। थर्ड रो पे कितने है? 3 है। फोर्थ रो पे कौन से है? 4 है। दैट मीन्स व्हाट इज रो नंबर उतनी बार चलना चाहिए। रो नंबर 1 है तो 1 एलिमेंट, रो नंबर 2 है तो 2 एलिमेंट, रो नंबर 3 है तो 3 एलिमेंट, रो नंबर 4 है तो 4 एलिमेंट। फॉर कॉलम काउंटर द रेंज ऑफ 1 to रो काउंटर, दैट्स आल्सो करेक्ट। आपने रो काउंटर क्यों डिस्प्ले किया? इफ यू डिस्प्ले रो काउंटर तो पहली बार 1 डिस्प्ले करेगा, अगली बार 2 बार 2 डिस्प्ले करेगा, अगली बार 3 बार 3 डिस्प्ले करेगा, अगली बार 4 बार 4 डिस्प्ले करेगा। सो नाउ दैट यू हैव अप्लाइड दिस टू लूप्स करेक्टली, यू डिड नॉट गिव अ थॉट कि मुझे डिस्प्ले क्या करना है, कि आपने इस पे ध्यान नहीं दिया। दिस लूप्स विच इज मोर कॉम्प्लेक्स पार्ट दैट यू हैव डन करेक्टली विराज, बट आपने ना इस पे ध्यान ही नहीं दिया क्या चाहिए आपको। आपने यहाँ जबरदस्ती आंसर ला रहे हैं। तो ये रो काउंटर 1 1 ही था, ये 2 3 3 नहीं हो रहा है विराज, ये चेंज नहीं हो रहा है। What is changing is over here. How can you change the row counter inside this loop? जब ये लूप में आप प्रिंट कर जा रहे हो तो ये नहीं होना चाहिए। You should not do the dry run in this fashion. This shows then you are just trying to get what you want, not following the code. Let this code be wrong. I don't mind if the code is wrong. The dry run should reflect जो आपका कोड कर रहा है। समझ आ रहा है मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? जो कोड में हो रहा है ना वो ड्राई रन में आ जाए, भले गलत आ जाए। हमें वही सीखना है कि ये गलत क्यों है, वो दिखाई देना चाहिए। तो यहाँ आउटपुट क्या था मालूम है? 1, देन 2 2, देन 3 3 3 एंड देन 4 4 4 4। बिकॉज यहाँ है ना ये वैल्यू चेंज नहीं होने वाले थे, ये वैल्यू चेंज नहीं होने वाले थे, ये वैल्यू चेंज नहीं होने वाले थे। तो
सर वो फ्लोगोरिथम में राइट आया पे?
ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता है। मैं मेरी मूंछ कटवा दूंगा अगर सही आया है तो।
नहीं सर, ये नहीं 1 2 2 3 3 वो।
पार्डन
सर दैट 1 2 2 3 3 दैट 1।
हाँ वो तो सही था ना, प्रॉब्लम वो नहीं है ना। प्रॉब्लम इज डिफरेंट ना दिस टाइम अराउंड। तो ये देखो ना प्रॉब्लम क्या है, ये 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 है। प्रॉब्लम अलग है ना। लेट्स सी व्हाट विराज हैज डन, कौस्तुभ हैज डन। And that's correct. Kuch tha hi nahi isme. Okay, it was very simple. Once you have constructed the loop, you just have to increment the number. You could have just called it as a counter that just to be printed. It's just counting the numbers. So it was a perfect solution, and that's what he has come up with. I'll leave it up to you to do dry run for it. I'll just paste it over here and share that particular code with you all. So first I'll take the problem statement. So this was the problem. And let's see what solution has he given. Now, whether it's the correct solution, I'll just make small change. I'll just change the name of the variable and I'm going to pick it as it is. So it is Kaustubh solution only. Just instead of num, I'll take a variable called as counter because I'm just going to keep it counting. Here, initialize counter to value 1. Please enter the number of rows to be printed from the following series, total number of rows. For row counter in the range of 1 to total number of rows. Now understand, this will run from 1 to what is your total number of rows, 4 at the 1 to 4. For every value of row counter, this column counter will also run from 1 to row counter. For the first time row counter 1 है, तो ये 1 to 1 चलेगा. अगली बार यहाँ row counter 2 है, तो in this case, this for loop will run from 1 to 2. अगली बार row counter 3 है, तो it will run from 1 to 3. अगली बार row counter 4 है, तो this will run from 1 to 4. डिस्प्ले करते समय सिर्फ हम लोग काउंटर की वैल्यू डिस्प्ले करेंगे And as he has rightly done, we'll change the value of counter. I leave this thing to you, dry run to you, because it's a straightforward solution and hopefully all of you can do it. It's a perfect solution. So I'll be sharing this file with you all. आप इसका dry run करके देखिएगा. It's perfect. सिर्फ क्या किया इसने? देखो इस प्रोग्राम की तरफ देखिएगा, प्रॉब्लम की तरफ देखिएगा. First he has taken care of printing correct number of rows. 4 rows चाहिए. So he says for row counter in the range of 1 to total number of rows. Total number of rows 4 है, तो this will run 4 times. Every time is incrementing by 1. So this loop will take care of rows. And on every row we have to print some numbers. हर एक रो पे आपको कोई ना कोई नंबर प्रिंट करना है. कितने नंबर्स प्रिंट करने हैं? फर्स्ट रो पे 1 प्रिंट करना है, 2 रो पे 2 प्रिंट करने हैं, 3 रो पे थर्ड रो पे 3 प्रिंट करने हैं, 4 रो पे 4 प्रिंट करने हैं. That means I need to construct a loop which will run for the first time once, second time 2 times, third time 3 times, fourth time 4 times. So he says for column counter in the range of 1 to row counter. Row counter for the first time is 1, so 1 to 1 is 1 time. Next time row counter value 2 है, तो for column counter in the range 1 to 2 ये 2 बार हो गया चलेगा. अगले पास में रो काउंटर का वैल्यू 3 रहेगा, तो कॉलम काउंटर इन द रेंज 1 to 3. अगली बार रो काउंटर का वैल्यू 4 रहेगा. अगली बार मींस वंस यू कम आउट ऑफ दिस लूप, तो कॉलम काउंटर इन द रेंज ऑफ 1 to 4, तो 1 2 3 4 चलेगा. एंड एवरी टाइम ही व्हाट ही हैज डन इज टेकन वन वेरिएबल काउंटर. फर्स्ट टाइम 1 प्रिंट किया, काउंटर बिकम्स 2, तो अगली बार 2, फिर इट बिकम्स 3, तो इट विल करेक्टली प्रिंट 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. आई वुड लाइक यू टू डू द ड्राइविंग फॉर दिस. So it's a perfect solution that he has implemented. Have you understood the logic what he has done? Others? I have not tested his rest of the solutions though. What I'm doing is I'm sharing his file with all of you for quick reference. दोस्तों फाइल का नाम क्या है?
Print rows 1.
So I have shared with you all solutions that we close to best solved. सारे solutions. आपका काम क्या है अभी? एक्सरसाइज इन solutions को ले लो, इसके ड्राई रन करो, and if it is wrong, prove it close to is wrong. And if it is correct, appreciate it. Say good work done, close to. So I have shared the file with you all. Please download it and test. तो अगली बार के समय I have a very small expectation from you. Solutions are there with you. Just do the dry run for each of them and show it to me, whether you could do the dry run correctly or not. So very simple task for you all now. Just do the dry run. Okay. Solutions are there with you now. Problem is also there and solution is also there. Do a dry run to prove that Kaustubh is right or wrong, whatever it is. Let's take a different set of problem now. Do you want a difficult one or a simpler one? Okay, we'll take a different combination. These were like repetitive things. Let's take a different problem statement altogether. Okay, we'll go ahead with the difficult one slightly later. So let's take one problem statement. Please note down the problem statement. Accept an integer and display sum of its digits. Accept an integer and display sum of its digits. Okay, so if I give a number as 123, you should display answer as 6, because 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. So that's the first part of the program. Accept an integer and display sum of its digits. Continue the process. Continue the process. Till a palindrome is not found. Continue the process till a palindrome is not found. Now let me explain you what is a palindrome. Palindrome is a number which, if you read from left to right or right to left, it should be same. Like 121. I read it from right to left is 121. If I read it from left to right, it's also 121. So question is accept integer and display sum of its digits. Accept integer and display sum of its digits and continue the process till a palindrome is not found. Okay, and the number can be any digit number. It can be 5-digit number, it can be 100-digit number, it could be any digit number. We don't know how many digits that number has. So make an attempt to solve this particular problem. My machine is asking me to restart. So I'll make somebody amongst you as a host. So I'm making who has a good internet connection? आशीष, आपका कनेक्शन कैसा है?
अच्छा जी.
अच्छा, तो I'm making you host and give me the rights once I rejoin. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll break you all in the rooms. What I do is today I'll not create too many rooms. I'll just create 2 rooms. So let's see. Hold on. Huh? Rooms are open for all of you. संजय ज्वाइन करो, राहुल ज्वाइन करो. राहुल ज्वाइन करो. राहुल राहुल रूम ज्वाइन करो. Rahul, join the room. Hello, Rahul. Okay, you all made a good attempt, but then you started on a right note and you are ignoring certain things. Team 1 was doing something that they knew what they want, but what they want, they were not writing inside the code. Team 2, you all started on the right fashion, but then later the discussion actually went in a wrong direction. Team 2, आपने क्या decide किया कि अरे पहले वो decompose करेंगे और फिर solve करेंगे. Nice thing. But बाद में आपने किया कि वो problem समझा नहीं आपने ढंग से. Question was not about displaying the sum only if it is not a palindrome. वो palindrome है नहीं है तभी sum तो display करना ही था. The question very clearly says accept integer and display sum. Whether it's a palindrome or not a palindrome, that is an explicit demand कि वो आपको करना ही है वो काम. आगे क्या करना है नहीं करना है, that will depend upon that particular condition. So the problem statement was to be given enough consideration. So try and understand the problem statement first before you actually make an attempt to solve that particular question. Otherwise, what happens is you are on the wrong note और कोई shortcut नहीं लगाना है when you try and get that particular result. Okay, what I see at the end is team 1 has got the answer without the proof. तो उन्होंने आंसर तो लेकर आए हैं और प्रूफ नहीं है, and variable naming conventions are not right. Okay, so team 1 has got the solution. Almost got the solution. सिर्फ आंसर एक लाइन प्रिंट लिखना शायद रह गया before I close the meeting. But so congratulations team 1, you got your answer right. Team 2 started on wrong correct note, but then कहीं तो आगे भटक गए. So I'm sharing the solution with you all, the one that I have solved. And what I would expect you to do is again do a dry run. तो आपको ना कई सारे dry runs हैं. एक तो कौस्तुभ ने जो solve किया था वो सारे dry runs हैं. Plus the one that I have right now solved वो एक dry run है. तो आपको dry run करना है on a piece of paper. So I have shared the file with you all with the solution. Have you all received that file? This is the solution that we have. It's a very simple solution that is there. And जो आपका जो logic था to calculate the sum of the digits वो शायद सही है. And ये इसी में हम लोग reverse find करते जाएंगे. and then we'll check whether the sum of the digits and original number, uske digits can reverse not equal to original number. So give some meaningful name. Just don't say num1, num2, num3. It will not give you an idea as to what you are trying to do. So I've taken some variable like digit. You all said where. What is where? It was digits actually that you are calculating. So give the variable name, the correct names, like digit is equal to 10 mod 10, then find the digit. Then sum of the digit equal to sum of digit plus the digit. Then reverse find कर लिया. फिर टेम्पररी नंबर को आपने डिवाइड कर लिया. टेम्प 0 होने पर आप बाहर आए. ओरिजिनल नंबर का सम ऑफ द डिजिट्स प्रिंट कर लिया. एंड देन चेक किया रिवर्स इज नॉट इक्वल टू ओरिजिनल नंबर. अगर रिवर्स इज नॉट एज सेम एज द ओरिजिनल नंबर, दोबारा कंटिन्यू कर लिया एंड सो ऑन. So I expect you to do dry run. Dry run ऐसा कीजिएगा कि पहला नंबर जो है वो पैलिंड्रोम नहीं है और दूसरा नंबर ऐसा दीजिएगा जो पैलिंड्रोम है. And then see the flow. Don't apply your brain over there. देखो, when you do the dry run, you're not supposed to apply your mind. You're just going to blindly follow what the algorithm says. जो algorithm में लिखा है वही करते जाना है, right, wrong, जो भी है. And when you reach to a conclusion, ये सही answer दे रहा है, then you could stop. But then while you do the dry run, just follow what has been written in the dry run. Don't apply anything else. Don't do anything more. Take one more question to trouble you. आशीष का एग्जाम है तो I excuse him from solving those assignments. But बाकी लोगों को ऐसा एग्जाम कुछ नहीं है तो you're supposed to make attempt to solve those additional example as well. और एक क्वेश्चन लीजिएगा exactly on the same line से. Exactly on the same line से. Take one more question. तो आपके लिए असाइनमेंट्स क्या है? कौस्तुभ ने सॉल्व किए हुए प्रॉब्लम्स का ड्राई रन करना है. सेकेंड, अभी जो मैंने सॉल्यूशन शेयर किया उसका ड्राई रन करना है. एंड इन एडिशन टू दैट एक क्वेश्चन, समथिंग टू थिंक ओवर. एंड यू कुड डिस्कस विथ योर फ्रेंड्स. आई डोंट माइंड. पॉइंट क्या है, आपको आना चाहिए, कॉपी नहीं करना चाहिए. दैट्स द ओनली थिंग. यू कैन डिस्कस विथ योर फ्रेंड्स, योर पेरेंट्स, यू डिस्कस विथ एनीबडी. द पॉइंट इज you should understand what has been done. जो कर रहे हैं आप वो you should be convinced. So ऐसा भी कुछ नहीं कि you all can meet and you can discuss. I don't mind, provided each one of you when that solution is arrived at, you all convinced. हाँ ये सही है, आपको सही पता चल चुका है how it is working. That is the only criteria. Copy paste के करना नहीं है, कहीं से उठाया और पेस्ट कर दिया. आप डिस्कस करो, आप किसी की हेल्प लो, everything is okay. Copy paste is not okay. Okay. Take another question. Accept integer and display its digits. Simple है. आपने अभी सॉल्व किया है ऑलमोस्ट. करेक्ट. एक्सेप्ट इंटीजर एंड डिस्प्ले इट्स डिजिट्स. ये सिंपलर है. ये अभी दिए हुए प्रॉब्लम से सिंपलर है. कंटिन्यू द प्रोसेस. till such a number continue the process till such a number whose sum of the cubes of the digits is equal to the number itself is not found. Sum of the cubes of its digits is equal to the number itself is not found. Continue the process. Sum of the cube of its digits is equal to the number itself is not found. ओके. एग्जांपल चाहिए आपको एक टेस्टिंग के लिए?
यस सर.
लो एग्जांपल टेस्टिंग के लिए जो ये प्रॉपर्टी सेटिस्फाई करेगा. 371 एंड चेक करके देखो. 3 का क्यूब प्लस 7 का क्यूब प्लस 1 का क्यूब 371 आता है. ओके, दैट्स वन सैंपल वैल्यू फॉर यू. ओके. ओके, दैट्स 371. और मेरी एक ही रिक्वायरमेंट है आपसे कि आपने कॉपी नहीं करना है. डिस्कस करो, किसी से भी कंसल्ट करो, कुछ भी करो, सिर्फ कॉपी नहीं करना है। नहीं तो आप गूगल करोगे या चैटबॉट के लिए बोलोगे कि अरे मुझे आंसर दे दो, दैट डजंट हेल्प। यू ऑल कैन डिस्कस, टेक हेल्प, डू एनीथिंग। क्या होता है डिस्कशन या हेल्प लेने से ना, यू आर अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर लॉजिक। एंड मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या, आपको लॉजिक समझ में आना चाहिए कि कैसे काम कर रहा है, दैट्स द ओनली थिंग। इट्स एक्चुअली वेरी सिंपल सॉल्यूशन, मच सिंपलर देन व्हाट वी आर जस्ट नाउ डन।
सर नंबर क्या था?
Pardon?
नंबर क्या था सर?
371.
37।
Just for sake of testing, I can give more such numbers, but 370 is one good number. एक से काम चल जाएगा। So with that note, we'll stop here today. We'll meet tomorrow again. ऐसे ही थोड़ा सा एक्सरसाइज लेंगे। I know you wondering ये आगे क्यों नहीं बढ़ रहे, बट आगे बढ़ने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला है। लिसन, जब तक आप लोगों का कॉन्फिडेंस प्रोग्रामिंग पे नहीं आता ना, कोडिंग पे, डिजाइन पे नहीं आता है, तो आई टीच यू लैंग्वेज और वहाँ कोड नहीं लिख पाए तो उसका क्या फायदा है। तो आई गो टू द नेक्स्ट स्टेप। नेक्स्ट स्टेज पे हम लोग तब जाएंगे जब मुझे भरोसा हो यू ऑल आर कॉन्फिडेंट टू एटलीस्ट हैव द आइडियाज। आइडियाज है तो प्रोग्रामिंग में फिर मजा आता है, फिर आपको कुछ नहीं करना है। प्रोग्रामिंग में आपके पास आइडिया ऑलरेडी है, वो सिर्फ सिंटैक्स यूज करके टीच। फॉर मी इट इज ईजियर टू टीच यू द लैंग्वेज, सो आई कैन ओनली टीच यू द लैंग्वेज कंस्ट्रक्ट एंड नॉट बॉदर अबाउट लॉजिक क्या है। लॉजिक तो आपको पता है, आप सिर्फ उस लैंग्वेज में कैसे लिखना वही रह जाता है। तो यहाँ सबसे ज्यादा मेहनत लेनी है आपको। अगर आपको लगता है कि मैं सी में मेहनत लूंगा, जावा में मेहनत लूंगा, नो, here is where you have to put in the most efforts. Okay, so put that efforts and be ready for tomorrow's session. Thank you all for in the session today. I appreciate the way you all have been discussing, but continue with the discussion and apply your brains. Take care. सागर साठी तो सोल्युशन द्यायला राहिलं मला। सागर ये कौस्तुभ had solved those solutions. कौस्तुभ फाइल का नाम क्या था? Print Rose 1. सागर, this is for you. Once again, I'm sharing Print Rose 1. सागर लिया क्या डाउनलोड? सागर नहीं है क्या? अच्छा है। सागर आहे की नहीं क्लास में? आहे। Okay. So Sagar, download कर लो Print Rose 1. Others probably have downloaded this file. These were solutions for Kaustubh solutions for algorithms. We have checked only the first two. I have not checked other solutions. तो आपका काम है कौस्तुभ ने लिखे हुए बाकी सोल्यूशन सही है नहीं है वो भी आप ही को देखना है। That's your objective, responsibility by doing the dry run. Proof चाहिए। Okay. So with that note, we'll stop over here. किसी को कोई डाउट, क्वेरीज है, कुछ कहना है, पूछना है, बताना है, शेयर करना है? Yes, anybody? राहुल, इसका कुछ फायदा लग रहा है करने का सारा एक्सरसाइज?
यस सर।
क्या लग रहा है फायदा?
सर लॉजिक समझ में आएगा और डिस्कशन से थोड़ा, मतलब प्रोग्रामिंग में कुछ होता नहीं है, बस आपको लॉजिक समझना चाहिए।
करेक्ट। तो दिस में भी एट टाइम्स बिट क्या बोलते हैं, परेशान हो जाते हैं हम लोग, अरे ये क्या कर रहे हैं सर, बार बार वैसे ही क्वेश्चन दे रहे। ये ऐसे ही क्वेश्चन रिपीटेडली क्यों दे रहा हूँ? एक कंफर्ट लेवल आने के लिए, आपको है ना, आपके दिमाग में आइडिया आ जाए और आप उसको लिख सके, इसके लिए मैं बार बार आपको ऐसे क्वेश्चन दे रहा हूँ। एंड इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिलीव मी, अगर आप मुझ पर भरोसा रखोगे, ये सारी चीजें ढंग से करोगे, आपको आगे जाके जिंदगी में दिक्कत नहीं आएगी। टेक माई वर्ड। तो ऑन दैट नोट विल स्टॉप हियर टुडे। सी यू टुमारो। टेक केयर, लव यू ऑल, बाय बाय।